Welcome to Creative Piano Academy with me, Joseph Sakura, and that is very true today. We're going to get really serious and dive deep into how to write a melody, how you can improve your melodies. You probably haven't seen what I'm about to show you in this video, so stick around, let's roll that intro and get cracking. 1 second, almost forgot. I made that a little bit wonky, still room for improvement, but anyway, back to the intro. Guys, don't forget to smash that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, as well as that notification bell next to it so you know when I upload new videos. Also, I've put together a new free giveaway for you. Check the cards, check the information box down below. It's called the Top 5 Piano Exercises for Beginners. Check it out if that's your thing. Now, let's get going. Okay, so take a listen to this first. So what you heard there isn't like a melody I'm super happy with or I'd put into a piece of music or anything like that. What I was doing has a very specific purpose that I want to explore with you in this video. But before we do that, let's take a quick step back and have a look at what core skills we need to develop to be able to create melodies in the first place. And for me, there's two core skills essentially that go together hand in hand in order to allow you to express yourself and write melodies. And the first is technique. So you've got things like spacing, you've got tension and resolve, all that, all the theory, the essentials that go into writing a melody. But that's not what this video is about. You know, your 3 tweaks to do this, your 3 tricks, your 3 hacks, all that kind of stuff. I've got that on the channel and I've got way more stuff planned on it. Super important, love it. But this video is about something else. This is about developing your personality, your intuition with writing melodies, because that's the other side to it. Okay, what makes your melodies you? So what I was doing there is essentially taking the C major scale and just noodling around the notes. Noodling, it's a great word, that, isn't it? We're going to noodle around all those notes in the C major scale. You know, we'll learn all these techniques and scales when we first start learning the piano, right? And it's like, well, what can I actually do with it? So this is what you can do with it. So first I'll show you a bit of a broad overview of what we're doing here, but it might be a bit overwhelming. So then we're going to dive in and I'll show you 2 techniques you can use to get started. So first of all, we need to be familiar with the C major chord. Now I'm hoping before you start this video that you're very familiar with it, but if you're not, I'll show you this first and you can go away and practice it. Start off on the C and we essentially move up all the white notes. So when we get to the E with that 3rd finger, thumb underneath, to the F, all the way to the top, and then back down again, 3rd finger over. When you get used to that 1st octave, we can add another octave in. When we get to the B here with the 4th finger, thumb underneath. Okay, and then it just resets back to the beginning. Thumb under, up to the top. 3rd over, 4th over, and 3rd over. Now, I'm whizzing through that because that's not what this video is about. I want you really familiar with that C major scale first. But that's it in a nutshell. Now we need a bit of a left-hand accompaniment that we're going to repeat over and over again as like a foundation to explore melodies. And that, we're going to use a C power chord here. We're going to play that twice. We're going to move to the G power chords, that's G and D, we're going to play that twice. A and E, play that twice. And then F and C, play that twice, okay? So this is a familiar thing that I've explored in a few other videos. Power chords are a great way to just give a very basic left-hand accompaniment. Doesn't take much brain power. But as we're getting used to this, as a complete gift to you, you don't need to put your email in or anything like that. If you check down in the information box, I've put together just me playing piano in the background using those chords, a little bit more interesting than just power chords, so that you can just play that in the background and then have a go at what we're about to do next. So just check that out. You can download it, no strings attached, just my gift to you. So now we're all set. And if you haven't done this before, it is going to be chaos. It's going to be overwhelming. Do not worry about it. It's totally expected. You're going to start off, you're going to have this nice pattern going. And we're just going to start playing around with these notes in the C major scale, totally at random. And it just doesn't matter what we're doing here. We're just playing around. We're going to stick to that 1st octave, so we're not going to go beyond that 1st octave or anything, just stick to 1 octave. idea here is we want to start feeling, hearing, and digesting and getting used to what sounds good to us personally, what doesn't sound good, what notes in consecutive orders sound really nice, what sounds a bit weird. And over time, the more you do this, the more that I want that to become part of you. And that's the intuition side of melody writing. It's like, that sounds pretty good. So all that sounds like it works. It's a bit cheesy, it doesn't sound very nice, but it works, yeah? But if I was to go... these notes don't particularly sound very nice on their own. And it's that kind of thing that I want you to start getting used to and feeling, okay? So that is the grand overview. That's the exercise. Stick to this one octave and just start playing around, okay? What sounds good? What doesn't? Latch on to what sounds good. Try and repeat it. Now, overwhelming? Totally understand. So let's break that down. Have a look at 2 methods you can explore to get used to it, stepping stones, so to speak. So the first thing I want you to do is think about limiting the number of notes that you're allowed to use. Now, you can essentially break this down to just using 2 notes, a C and a D, and that's it, okay? And you can start playing around with just those 2 notes. Sound particularly exciting, but it doesn't sound bad, and that's just using 2 notes. And then after a while you can just add this E in here, so now it sounds a little bit more interesting. It's still a bit what would you say, still a bit common and bland, but it's beginning to sound a bit like some of the stuff you might hear out there, yeah? I'm just using 3 notes. Add another note in, so let's add this little B in. So now we've got these 4 notes, we've got B, C, D, E. And hopefully you're kind of getting an idea of what I'm doing here. And do this in stages, so get really comfortable with 2 notes, get really comfortable with 3, then 4, yeah? Don't just whiz through it like I'm doing now. I'm just showing you the essentials here. So now we've got 4 notes. And then, of course, you know the idea, we're going to add another note in. So we'll add, say, well, let's limit it now to these 5 and this B here. So 6 notes, B, C, D, E, F, and G. And also, if you are just getting used to this, you've got 1 position here, okay? You've just got this. There's no need to worry about any of this fingering nonsense or anything like that. That can come later. You just limit into here, and your thumb can just now and again jump over to that B. So... just go on for hours like that, but you get the idea, okay? So that is stage number 1. Just limit the amount of notes, get used to that first. Stage number 2, okay? Now we're getting into the realms of proper good melodies, okay? And this is a real good tip for you. Good melodies are repetitive. They get lodged in your head, they repeat themselves over and over again. So this time we're going to explore creating rhythmic patterns, and essentially you can break that down to using just a few notes as well. So for instance, if we just take these 3 notes here, I latch onto a repetitive pattern that I think sounds quite nice, and I'll just keep repeating it over and over again. I'm rambling. This is what I'm talking about. So notice how I'm just repeating the same thing. Yeah? You could even simplify that, you know? How about just one note? Add another note. Three notes. Now just repeating the same thing. Oh man. Four notes. But then you can, so that's just the starting point. Then you can start getting really creative with this, and you know. Honestly, I haven't even planned this. I'm just playing them, you know? And that's the point. I want you to start getting spontaneous, get creative. The more you do this, the more it'll become natural. And what I'm hoping emerges from practicing this are little things that you latch onto that you like personally, and they will start developing into your sound and start coming through in the melodies that you write, you know? You listen to Ed Sheeran, you listen to Paul McCartney, you listen to, you know, a lot of Ryan Tedder's songwriting stuff. Queen, particularly, you know, they have a sound, they have something where you can go, Brandon Flowers is one that I can recognize straight away, you know? You listen to it and there's just something about the melodies that they write where you go, that's him, instantly. And so this is a way to start developing that kind of thing. And you might find those little things in the melodies that make you sit up and go, I like that. And then they'll start becoming part of you. For instance, for me, and something that over time has sort of seeped into my melodic style, so to speak, is something like this. See this here, this sort of rundown. I just love how that works when I'm playing that fourth chord and the G together with it, and it's just something that sounds good to me. And so I've heard that creeping into my melodies all the time. This sort of like. It's nothing special. It's not particularly massively interesting or anything. It's just something. It's crept into the way I write melodies, and that's come with experimentation. It's come with play. It's come with time. Play in the sense that I'm just playing around, yeah? Not just playing piano, playing around in that specific way. So, quick recap, C major scale first. Get used to that, and then you're going to start just playing around with all those notes. Just start, you know, experimenting. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's not about writing melodies right now. It's about getting familiar with the process of writing melodies and developing that musical ear. Then we had a look at stripping down to just using a certain amount of notes, and that's it, to get you used to that. So for instance, just 3 notes, or 4, but you get the idea. And then we took a look at patterns, okay? So. To be honest, that really is touching on proper songwriting technique. I'm going to save a lot of that for another video, but do get used to that and you won't go far wrong. And of course, when you've got used to just using a few notes, just using a few patterns, bring those skills back into using the full octave, you know, noodling around, so to speak, like a bit of noodling, and just see if any of those skills you've been developing pokes through into your noodling. And so now you have a cycle that you can keep repeating and getting better over time. So hopefully something a bit different for you there, not just your average 2 tricks or 3 hacks or anything like that. This is the deeper level stuff. This is the stuff that'll start developing your musical ear and your musicality and developing you as a creative musician. So I hope you like that. Back to me. Okay guys, I really hope you liked that. If you put that to use, you've got hours and hours and hours of practice where you can start developing your musical ear. Remember, I mentioned I recorded a piano backing for you just in case you're struggling with that left hand, so do download that. Gift to you all. Again, you know, I hope the message, the techniques, the exercises came across in this video. It's a little bit more abstract rather than your do this, do that, so hope you get something out of it. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.